Yeah, they're screaming again. We ain't listening. They said the sky was falling when he walked through the door and called him every name in the book and still wanted more. While they're out there hugging terrorists and opening up the gate, he's building that wall. They're making America great. They cry about democracy dying every single night, but the only thing dying is their grip on power and their appetite for a fight. Keep the faith, America, he's keeping us safe, while the left keeps cheering for the bad guys night and day. They hate the flag, they hate the fight, they hate the red, white and blue. But Trump's in the White House saying not on my watch, not on my crew. So keep the faith, America, stand tall and stand true. He's fighting for you, and I'm fighting right there with you too. They want open borders, they want crime in the street. They want your money, your guns, and your God under their feet. They'll fund every protest, every riot, every clown, while American families watch their cities burning down. They scream defund the police, then call 911. Hypocrites in designer clothes, having way too much fun. Keep the faith, America, he's keeping us safe, while the left keeps cheering for the bad guys night and day. They hate the flag, they hate the fight, they hate the red, white and blue. But Trump's in the White House saying not on my watch, not on my crew. So keep the faith, America, stand tall and stand true. He's fighting for you, and I'm fighting right there with you too. They call him a dictator while they censor what you say. They scream about fascism, but they're the ones taking rights away. They love every tyrant from Tehran to Beijing, long as that tyrant hates America and everything we believe. They'll tax you to death and spend it all on their schemes, while red states are thriving and living the American dream. Yeah, they can call us deplorable, call us every name in the book, but we're the ones paying the taxes and carrying the flag while they look. So go ahead and riot, go ahead and scream. We're over here keeping the faith and living the dream. Keep the faith, America, he's keeping us safe, while the left keeps cheering for the bad guys night and day. They hate the flag, they hate the fight, they hate the red, white and blue. But Trump's back in the saddle doing what real leaders do. So keep the faith, America, stand tall and stand true. He's fighting for me, and he's fighting for you. Yeah, keep the faith, America, we're still here, and we ain't going nowhere.
Well, I woke up this morning, turned on the news. Another leftist rally with their matching tattoos. They got blow-up animals and rainbow capes, superhero cosplay, and a bunch of sad sack betas in tights and face paint. Blue hair Karen screaming at the sky, while some washed-up wedding singer belts Imagine and starts to cry. They don't know what they're protesting. They just know they're mad, marching for 12 straight hours like it's gonna fix the world. Oh, how sad. From defund the police to free Palestine, they scream at the clouds all day and wonder why nothing's changed. It's the dumbest damn circus that I've ever seen. A bunch of ignorant socialists living in a fever dream. They got signs saying eat the rich while wearing 300 jeans, demanding 25 minimum wage for a job they've never seen. They block the interstate for climate change, glue themselves to the road, then cry when the cops show up and say, time to go home. Beta males nodding along like good little boys, while their girlfriends scream fascist at the mailman delivering toys. They don't know what they're protesting. They just know they're mad, marching for weeks on end like it's gonna fix the world. Oh, how sad. From no kings to no borders, from pronouns to Palestine, they're out there every weekend wasting everybody's time. It's the dumbest damn circus that I've ever seen. A bunch of blue-haired socialists lost in their own wet dreams. They've been at it since Floyd, through Dobbs and through Gaza. Still don't have a clue what the hell they're even hollering for, y'all. One week it's save the turtles, next week it's burn it all down. Honey, pick a lane before you run that whole parade into the ground. They don't know what they're protesting. They just know they're mad. Long days, long weeks, still nothing good ever comes from that. Blow up giraffes, blue hair, and beta males in tow. It's the saddest damn circus that this country's ever known. So keep marching in circles, keep screaming at the sky while the rest of us are working. Y'all just look stupid, and that's no lie.
All right, we're here. Starting to wonder if it was going to happen at all. I had all kinds of issues in the last hour trying to get everything set up. I had to restart and do all kinds of stuff, but we're good now. I'm going to do that, Peachy. I can't sing a lick. I'm not real good at tonation, and I understand music. I can even read music. But I've never been good at making it. And it's because my ear is unable to listen, or my brain is unable to take what I hear and make it sound in tune. Many of us have this problem. You may have the voice to sing, but you don't have the intonation to sing. And a lot of times that happens, and that's what's happened with me. I have some of the things necessary to sing and to play music. I have other things that are necessary that I don't have, and so that's how we end up with that. All right, here's what we've got tonight. This is the Sights and Sounds of Earth. Hello, everybody. My name is Ian Hicken. I'm here today in the auxiliary control room at Starship Studios as the life support system is still out on the bridge, and it probably will be for some time. I think Scotty and his crew are on strike. Tone deaf, yes. Tone deaf. That's another way to describe it. Yeah, and I'm not completely tone deaf, but I'm tone deaf enough that I can't make good music. So there you go. It sucks to be me, but hey, you know what? It is what it is. I do other things well, and I do other things really, really bad. So it just is what it is. I don't care. All right, we're all built how we're built. And it really doesn't matter if we can sing anymore because, like you said, just clone my voice into the AI. I just haven't done it yet. I actually pay for Suno. I could do it. I could go ahead and sing a bunch of shit into the computer, as horrible as it would be, and it would get my voice, and then when it sings a song in my voice, it would be in tone and it would sound good. Yeah, I mean, I wish I could sing. I love music. I've wanted to make music. If I was great at making music, I would be in a career of making music. I probably would be near the end of my career at this point, but I would be. Did we lose Randolph Mantooth today? What a name that guy has. Yes, he died July 9th. Son of a bitch. I didn't know that, guys. I never saw it in any of the newsreels, and I should have. Oh, okay. Well, that sucks. All right, guys. Randolph Mantooth, who played Johnny Gage on Emergency, the amazing, realistic Jack Webb show about the fire department and the emergency rooms that was never told by any other show. No, I think Mitch McConnell's still kicking, I think. But we do need proof of life if anybody knows any, because we haven't seen him alive since they found him completely unresponsive. Randy DeRoy Mantooth. And he played Johnny Gage on. He was a heartthrob for the ladies back then. It was a thing, he. Here, I'm pulling up his stuff now. Tall, dark, and good-looking is what they say. Randolph or Randy is a Seminole Indian heritage, born in Sacramento, California, on September 19th, 1945. One of four children born to a construction engineer. His childhood was somewhat physically unsettling in that his father's job career had the family moving frequently from state to state. Randy attended San Marcos High School in Santa Barbara area of California, where he participated in school plays. He received a scholarship to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York following his studies at Santa Barbara City College. Yep, he was the second guy on Squad 51. Roy DeSoto, the other actor, who I believe is still around. But him and Randy would respond to calls. If you guys have never seen Emergency, you've probably heard the sound before. Dun, dun, eh. And what that is it's two tones that sets off a Claxton horn. We had it in our station, although we always kept the Claxton horn unplugged. Anyway, but yeah, they portrayed the two firemen that would respond in the squad, and there was an engine company with Captain Stanley and Stoker and Chet and all those guys, and they would show up. That show is why I retired as a firefighter. I did a whole career in firefighting. I served almost every rank and position in my department. And I loved the fire service. I loved the communications aspect of it. I was always the comm specialist, the disaster guy. All of my love for the fire service and my love for that lifestyle and everything came from this show, Emergency. And it's absolutely amazing show created by Jack Webb. I bet you if I named two other of his shows, you would have heard of them. Although this one went longer, I think, than at least one or both of the other two. But Adam 12? Anyone? Adam 12? Adam 12. See the man. Come on, you guys. Adam 12 was another Jack Webb production, and so was Dragnet with Joe Friday and another one of my favorite actors, the guy that played Colonel Potter, was in Dragnet there, Harry Morgan. And so he made those three shows, and that was about it. But he made those, and he tried to make another show. It was going to be called 911 Wild, or 411 Wild, or whatever it was. And they tried to make it and premiere it on as one of the emergency episodes, but it kind of flopped. But anyway, he was trying to come up with a fourth one, which was going to be about animal control and about all the crazy animal rescues and all the different things they had to do dealing with animals. Yes, their trucks are in the California Museum. I'm going to see if I can pull that up real quick. I can't show anything from the TV show or play any of the music. I can't do it. Chips was made by different people, but it was very much made in the same spirit of Jack Webb. But let me tell you something. Jack Webb never would have made Chips like they made it. They made Chips. They never drew their guns. It was kind of a weird show, although I loved Chips, don't get me wrong. Shot on interstate highways that were not completed yet. And that's how they always had those big long runs that they could make their shots on. But yeah, Chips was another great show that was made in the spirit of Dragnet, Adam 12, and Emergency. You might have also seen it called Emergency 1. It was re-released in syndication in the late 80s, I believe it was, under the name Emergency 1, but not much had changed. The doctor on this show died not long ago. Kevin Fuller, I believe is his name. Robert Fuller. Played in a lot of Westerns. And he played the doctor in this. And anyway, it was a great show. The fire trucks are in a museum. They've got the first engine, the second engine, the ambulance, and Squad 51, the rescue truck. And here it is. I'm just going to pull up and show someone's video here for a few minutes, but these are private videos. I should be okay. We're using them under free use. Free whatever. Okay. So we don't need sound. Okay, so let's see here. I want to get... Just give me 10 minutes, guys, and we're going to get to the news, okay? 10 minutes, a little reminiscing here. We lost Randolph Mantooth. The guy that played Johnny Gage. So just humor me for just a minute here, and then we'll move on. Give me just 1 second to get this queued. Okay, and then let me switch it. Mama, can you give me a minute? I'm on the air. All right, so, oh, geez, apparently not. Hold on. As we say around here, that bitch is spoiled. Okay, she gets what she wants when she wants it. All right, so anyway, real quick, I just want to show this. I've showed this once before on here, but they actually have those trucks. For those of you who don't know this, they have those trucks, and they are out there. They're in this building right here, and this is the Los Angeles County Fire Department museum. Yeah, and they have a bunch of different significant vehicles in here, but most significantly the ones from the television show. The squad was a replica. In other words, they bought the exact same truck. They put the exact same utility body on the back. They put the exact same the twin sonic light bar on top. They had the exact same spotlights and the exact same equipment in the back and everything as the LA County Fire Rescue Squads, which had just started. They had just started doing this whole paramedics on rescue squads and things like that. And there's the uniform. And I'm going to skip ahead here because I want to show you. They've got steamers in here. They've got all kinds of stuff. But what I really want to show you is this. There's Engine 51, guys, from the show. That's the actual engine. No bullshit. That's the actual engine that Captain Stanley and Stoker and everybody else rode on. There's the ambulance, the Mayfair ambulance from Rampart, and there it is. There's Squad 51. It's still there. If you're in California, if you're in LA, you can go and see this with your own eyes. I love this stuff because this is what this show started and ended before I was old enough to be a firefighter. But I grew up watching this show on TV, and I wanted to be a firefighter. I wanted to be a cop too, but I really wanted to be a firefighter. And look at that. Old Ward LaFrance. Beautiful truck. That one back there he's pointing at, that's the old Engine 51. That was in season 1. Different captain, but that was in season 1. Notice it's a city cab. City cab meaning there's no roof on it. Very cool, huh, guys? Look at all the stuff they've got in there. And that's actually the real ambulance, the real fire trucks. I mean, that's the real deal. So I just wanted to show you guys that this stuff does exist out there in the universe. And you can actually still go touch it and be a part of it, look at it, whatever. So, yeah, I just wanted to bring that up as we've lost Randolph Mantooth, who played Johnny Gage alongside Kevin Tighe's Roy DeSoto in the 1972 through late 70s series called Emergency. Okay, that sucks. But anyway, it is what it is. We're all going to die, and most of the people I know are dying now. So there we go. All right, so Randolph Mantooth, God bless and Godspeed. All right, tonight in the news, we are going to be talking about a number of different things, and thank you for bringing that to my attention. Emergencyfans.com, Victor, there you go. They've got websites, there's fan clubs, there's conventions for emergency. Yeah, I know, Moorhead, but it's the fire department. We called things all kinds of weird shit. But yeah, city cab generally denotes a truck with a cab with no roof. Why they would even make a truck with a cab with no roof, I don't know. Now, I will tell you, they were really only big in California. And I think the reason is because California's, you get clear sunny days about 310 days a year. It's really a great place when it comes to like consistently temperate weather and things like that. Down here in Florida, you would get your ass soaked in that thing every day. I don't know how you could see out the window to drive, because the rain's going to be all on the inside and the outside. I don't even know how you could do it in a heavy rainstorm. So there you go. They had a fire truck motorcycle. They would use those to get the officers to the scene quicker. There was a time when they were doing that, yes. Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about some news, but as soon as I get done with the news in about 30 minutes or so, I'm going to have a serious, frank conversation. I need powder. I can see my head reflecting. I'm having that problem at work, too. Everybody tells me, you need to get some powder to put on. I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready for that. But anyway, after we get done covering the 4 or 5 news stories that we got, including the Iran conflict, including all the other stuff that's going on, after we get done with that, I want you guys. I heard Glenn Beck yesterday, and he was talking about the Smithsonian, and I want to tell you guys about the Smithsonian, the good, the bad, the ugly, mostly good. I love the Smithsonian. And I want to tell you about the man, Smithsonian, and how he came to be, and how the money came to be, and how the endowment worked, and how it all came about, because it's a very interesting story. A man that never visited the United States sent everything he had, and he was very rich when he died, to start a museum here to record the greatness of this country. Not the bad of this country, the greatness of this country. And that's going to be important in just a few minutes, because tonight, after I discuss the Smithsonian and tell you all about the past of the Smithsonian, I'm going to tell you about how the woke left. Oh, God, here it is. You're like, everybody just went, oh, shit. The woke left has taken over the Smithsonian over the last 20 years. And they have filled our nation's most precious museums with shit, with garbage. They're basically replacing exhibits that are specifically about the best of America and replacing it with exhibits that are not highlights of America. Let's just put it that way. You know, we shouldn't take an important exhibit out about American history, about something that some white guy did, and replace it with what happened to George Floyd. George Floyd's a dark page because George was acting very badly that day. The cops were acting very badly that day. And we ended up burning down a bunch of GD Target stores because of it. I don't understand it. I don't. But it's a dark day in our history. And so they've got a whole display about George Floyd and the justification over burning cities down over it. I don't get it, guys. And we're going to talk about that tonight. I actually had Grok do a deep dive and come up with a list of everything, or not everything, with most of what's in there that's either DEI, MMILIG, LGBTQIA2S+. I think I got that right. And also all the victimhood bullshit that's in here now. It's all about who America victimized. And that's not what Smithsonian sent his money here to do. He sent his money here to basically capture moments in time of America. This great, he saw us as the greatest thing that ever happened to the world. And he was right. And to now see the Smithsonian museums being treated by the left like this is, it's crazy. I pay for Grok, but you can still use it for free, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we used that aqueous. You're talking about the AFFF-ATC, the aqueous film forming foam alcohol type concentrate that we used to use that was made out of fish guts. That shit is carcinogen. It's a carcinogen, yes. I know exactly what you're talking about. I've dealt with it. Not that I've had cancer, but I hope I never do, because that's probably what caused it. Luckily, we hardly ever used it. We used it in training about 10 times over the course of 20 years. And I probably personally deployed less than 5 gallons of it myself. So I'm hoping, but we treated it like fun suds. I mean, we didn't care. We got it all over us. It didn't matter. Anyway. You're right, Moorhead, I guess. Yeah. I will admit, there's nothing good that George Floyd did that day. He was made into a saint. He was anointed as a saint. He was made a martyr that day. But guess what? Let me turn that down. Let me be honest with you guys for a minute, okay? I was a cop. You guys know that. I was an auxiliary cop, fully certified for 8 years. I was a police dispatcher for a little while. And I'll tell you guys something that I know from working the streets. I I don't know what those cops were doing that day. That's not what you do. So I have a real hard time saying, well, George Floyd was an asshole and that's what happens. Well, George Floyd was an asshole, but these guys get paid to deal with assholes properly. Okay, that's how it is. And I really think we need to make sure we understand when it comes to George Floyd, it's bad because everybody acted poorly, except that woman that's a paramedic with the camera that called every shot. And by the way, that's the reason this hit home so much when it hit the internet, was because you got that woman saying, so you're not going to let me help him, and stuff like, I can see he's not moving. I mean, there was so many things. We can debate the sentences those cops got, but none of that's really important right now for us. I think we have to look at the fact that nobody acted properly. And so for tonight's discussion, I ask, why do we have an entire big kiosk about the George Floyd situation with pictures of burning buildings, pictures of George Floyd being held down by 4 cops? Why, I don't know. They stayed on him for so long. The moment we had somebody in handcuffs, we stand them up and walk them back to the car. I don't understand that. So, I mean, the cops are no angels on that one. And anyway. All right, above me you are seeing video. I don't think this is live, but I cannot confirm either way. One way or another, it's from since it got dark over there about 8 hours ago till now. This has happened. I don't know that it's actually live. This is over Israel. I don't think it's live, but it could be. But in either way, this happened today. Above that, that will clear in just a minute. It's a rolling cameras around the United States. And then the upper center, that we're out in Portland, Oregon, and we've got more protesting going on out there with these anti-Americans, the pro-commies. And, well, they're not pro-commies, they're commies. So there you go. And they're out there doing their thing. And then the upper right, another liberal success story today. Look at all these wonderful people that the liberals have helped. Very good. Look what handouts have gotten us, everybody. This is what handouts have gotten us. Yeah, personally, there's things police do now that I don't agree with. When I policed, we didn't get tasers till just before I left. I stepped away from government. I retired from my fire department job that was full time. I stayed on for about 10 months to help the new guy get going, and then I walked away completely. And during that time, I also resigned from the sheriff's department, and I resigned from emergency management and dispatch. I just didn't want to do any of it anymore. I wanted to leave the government and go work in the private sector. And I didn't make near as good of money. It was much better. Much less pressure, much less bullshit. Yeah, so anyway, that's that. I don't know, whatever. So let's talk about the news of the day, and of course the top news of the day is more bullshit here with Iran. These people are not going to deal. They're done. We need to go ahead. I think it's underway right now.
With the introduction of missile technology.
Lockheed Martin rises to the challenge.
We defend what matters most.
What is auto playing now, for Christ's sake?
Edge technologies.
Lockheed Martin.
God bless. I hate that. All right. Trump says 1,000 missiles locked and loaded if Iran targets the U.S. president. There has been credible plots against the president. That's what you need to know. President Donald Trump warned that 1,000 missiles are locked and loaded and aimed at Iran in a Friday night Truth Social post. Iranian officials reported privately told the U.S. that attacks on commercial vessels in the Strait of Hormuz were a mistake and committed by a rogue faction of hardliners in the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. U.S. officials reportedly told CBS News. See, what's going on here is you've got two sides to this whole thing, all right? There's two sides. There's two different governments basically at play over there. It's not just one, there's two, all right? One of the governments that's at play over there is the Ayatollahs. They are the hardline extremists. They are the radical religious side of the whole thing. And they're do or die for God type people. And then over on the other side, you have... oh, for God's sake. On the other side, you've got people who are reasonable, people who want to discuss, people who want to work on things, people who want to do the right thing. And unfortunately, we're dealing with one group, but the other group is still sending out bombers. Victor, thank you very much for that. Bought a gift membership, and Freya218 just received a gift membership from Victor. Thank you, Victor, for that. I appreciate it. Welcome aboard, Freya. All right, so the Trump administration gave Iran a Saturday deadline to publicly renounce the attacks in the Strait of Hormuz. I don't believe that's happened. That's why I think they're going to get bombed the shit out of again tonight. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi is scheduled to arrive in Oman on Saturday to meet with Oman's foreign minister as a high-level U.S. team, including Vice President J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, and Jared Kushner, also expected to meet with the mediators in the Oman capital of Muscat. Now, let me tell you something. This is all stupid. I think we're beyond this at this point. I really do. But Trump knows more than we do, and you have to keep that in mind. When you say, I don't know what he's doing, he don't know what he's doing. First of all, you don't know what that man knows. No one in the earth knows everything that Donald Trump knows. He has intelligence coming in from everywhere. He's got our huge military and all their assets, and NASA and their assets, and we're watching this place like a hawk. But you also have everything coming in from all the other countries, the other militaries, including Israel. Israel, who has some of the best intelligence that you can get when it comes to knowing where their enemy is, because it's become very important to them. And so basically, we're in a situation now where they're basically calling a ceasefire. We're either talking to the wrong faction of people, which could be part of it. Oh, Christ, I just sat here and realized that the damn screen's not even forwarded. I didn't even hit that button. Anyway, all right, sorry about that, guys. But anyway, the whole point of this is I don't think we're going to get anywhere with this. I really don't see us getting anywhere with this whole thing. I think he just needs to do it. Hey, RuPaul. I hope I pronounced that right. And Maggie, B4U. Well, that's the thing. The kitchen's been destroyed and the cooks are running around everywhere. And some cooks want more war and some cooks want peace. And that's basic. That's literally as basic as it gets. Oh, yeah, I'm surprised they didn't attack that funeral, to be honest. But Trump, despite what the left wants you to believe, Trump has couth. All right, so let's see what else we got going on. There's not a whole lot here, but we are going to keep an eye on it. And I'm going to keep that video rolling. The video above me is all from this evening. This is all from just hours ago. All right, the next thing. Guys, we've got an alarming thing happening right now, and I don't know if it's because we just have so many cops right now, and we've had to employ so many police officers, and you're going to get bad apples. The more you hire, the more you get bad apples, and I think that might be part of it, but we've got a department like New York Police Department that is wrought with corruption when it comes to individual officers doing the wrong things. Do I think it's systemically corrupt? Yeah, I think there's elements of that too, but that's not what I'm discussing tonight. Another NYPD officer has been charged with felony crimes, this time rape, child sex crimes, and he's also admitted to other misconducts on the job. Joshua Acosta engaged in a high-speed chase in Brooklyn and failed to turn on his body cam. That's kind of what started the whole thing. The New York City police officer arrested Wednesday night on charges including rape and sexual acts against a child, previously admitted to violating department rules, including engaging in a dangerous high-speed chase and allegedly failing to activate his body cam. The 39-year-old officer, Joshua Acosta, was taken into custody while he was off duty around 7:46 p.m. within Brooklyn's 61st precinct. An 11-count criminal complaint alleges Acosta committed numerous sex acts against a girl when she was younger than 13. This is a cop, guys. And this brought me to this morning. The reason I brought this up tonight, and they're dealing with this guy. He's under arrest. They're going to be charging him with all kinds of bullshit. We'll see what happens. He needs to go to prison for the rest. We'll see if we get that or not. But we're going to keep an eye on this because I want to report on it. But also, I saw another story this morning. You know how YouTube will just play the next video? Well, I was busy working. I didn't notice, and it played the next video. And what the next video was about this cop and these two cops. And they abducted a woman. One of them watched while the other one abducted a woman, took her somewhere, did the R word to her. I need to quit saying that or they're going to demonetize me. Did the R word to her, and then said he was going to take her to the desert and kill her. And so he dropped the gun. She ran. She got away. Left her car behind. He went to run the car, but he couldn't get it to start, so he ran away. So she got her car back too. That's nice. And then to figure out who this guy is, the gun was still in the car. Because when it all happened, he had dropped the gun and it rolled up under the seat. Or I think she kicked it under the seat, but it didn't explicitly say that. So when they find the gun in the car, it's got an officer's name on the back of the gun. And they trace it back to a neighboring department. And when they go there, he's there reporting his gun missing. Oh, coincidence, huh? Oh, coinky-dink. Come to find out, I think this was the first incident, but come to find out these two officers who run the rape task force decided they were going to have a rape-off. I was appalled by this. It was on a national news story. It was not. This is not some crap that this has been verified. I verified it. Oh my God! They were having a rape off. And they were competing to see who could do the biggest caper and get away with it. These guys had been cops for a while. I don't know what to say other than we have to pay more attention to our cops. The number one thing that needs to happen across this country so that our cops can the good cops can be safe and so that we can keep police integrity intact, because that's so important, is these uses of force must be reviewed by a third party. We can no longer have these departments investigating themselves and determining that they didn't do anything wrong. We have to start accountability. We need police. I'm pro-police. But I'm also a constitutionalist, and this is bullshit. And so what I'm calling for tonight, what I think we really need to do in this country, is we need to get away from the police departments investigating themselves. I think we need to get together a group of 7 people that need to include an officer, like a lieutenant, captain, or major from one of the police departments, maybe 1 road officer from a police department, maybe 2 attorneys, maybe get a specialist that used to be a cop that's now a specialist. You can find qualified people to put on these boards and then have them review everything. Everything gets reviewed. And then if they find a problem, it gets kicked back, and then it has to be dealt with appropriately. That's how this needs to be done. the days of departments investigating themselves and finding that they didn't do anything wrong. Do you know, out of the last 10 big cases where cops were arrested and charged, 9 out of the 10 of the last big cases, I looked this up on Grok, 9 out of the 10 last big officer misconduct cases, they were allowed to quit. But you want to know something else? Another big thing? 9 out of 10 of these cases, get this, 9 out of 10 of these cases were investigated by internal affairs, and internal affairs found that the officers did nothing wrong. It was months later when they finally had to release the body cam footage, and a YouTuber put the body cam footage, in each case, a YouTuber put the body cam footage up online. And in every case, they had to go back and apologize and relook at it again. And in every of these cases I'm talking about, in every one of them, the reason I looked at these 10 cases is because they're cases where the officers were fired and arrested. And every one of them were cleared by their own department. There was, out of the 10, there was one that his department immediately suspended him. It was a very egregious case. But the other 9 cases that I looked at, and that were just recently, since this year, just in this year, of the ones I looked at, in 9 of the 10 cases, the department cleared the officer of any wrongdoing. So in that means, can we trust this? Can we trust that they're clearing, they're clearing their officers of wrongdoing? Can we trust this at all? I mean, I don't know that we can trust this. I don't think we can. Because look, it's failing over and over and over again. And so that's where I start to have a real problem with this, is police departments, they want less and less accountability, but they need more and more accountability. I actually think it's worth the money to hire video auditors, not the First Amendment auditors or the Second Amendment. That's a different thing. That's on YouTube. Those are YouTube journalists. I'm talking about hire a camera auditor that comes into work. They're not a cop. They don't work in the same building as the rest of the cops. They don't know the rest of the cops. This is a big thing. Where do you think the IA, the internal investigation cops, come from? Where do you think they come from? Out of the rank and file. They come right out of the rank and file. So they were all cops out doing their thing before, and now they're the cop investigating the cops that are out doing their thing. I don't understand how that's even good. I think we need to have more degrees of separation there. And this so we can exonerate the good cops and we can charge the bad cops. That's what needs to happen. Merlin, that's a good idea. Yeah, AI is getting used, but you have to remember, even the AIs are biased. ChatGPT is far left. It always puts global warming in everything I write. All right, well, that's all I had about that. I just wanted to mention several cases going on right now where police officers are doing horrible, egregious things. And I think we need more accountability, and we also need third-party monitoring, and we need to hire people that sit in a room and watch the body cameras, like I was just saying, a camera person. These people, these 2 or 3, on big departments, it could be 10 people. But they need to be hired. They need to be people that have been in school, they've done some law or whatever, or they can be trained. They can be trained what to look for. They don't need to make a legal determination. They simply need to go and watch the body cam footage of each encounter and just flag anything that is potentially inappropriate. And then we can have it looked at by someone who is legal counsel, someone who's paralegal, or someone who's maybe a former officer that we've hired to do this, to see if there is any illegality or inappropriateness or constitutional violations. That's how it needs to go forward. These guys need to be audited. Every case, it seems like they get cleared, and then we go back and charge them later. Well, if they're clearing people that are doing crimes and they're clearing them of those crimes and then later on they get convicted of those same crimes, we've got a problem in the system that needs to be addressed for sure. Yeah, Grok is about the best right now as far as it's basically straight up and down. It's not right or left. You won't find one on the right. There isn't one. There most of them are left, have a left-leaning bias. Yep, there's so many. There is AI's creating jobs just as much as it's losing them off. Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's see what else we got here. Trump administration subpoenas New York Times journalists in a grand jury leak probe tied to Air Force One report. The Trump administration did subpoena several journalists from the New York Times after their report about security concerns over the president's new Air Force One aircraft. The legal action comes after the new jet, a newly retrofitted Boeing 747-8, given to President Donald Trump by Qatar, there's a million ways to say that, took its inaugural flight early this month. Because it's kind of like cough utter. Cutter. Anyway, the subpoenas were issued to the journalists identified as Eric Lipton, Julian Barnes, Tyler Page, and Eric Schmidt on Friday, and seek to require these served to testify before a grand jury in Manhattan federal court Wednesday, according to the paper. The Times added that federal agents delivered some of the subpoenas directly to these reporters' homes. The appearance of federal law enforcement agents on the doorstep of news reporters should shock the conscience of any American who believes in the Constitution and the press of freedom, says one of the guys that got served. Look, let me tell you something. If it's legit, it's legit. You know, I'm pro law enforcement. I'm pro following the law. I'm pro getting people out of this country who don't belong here. I'm pro putting people in jail. I'm just a constitutionalist, and I'm against bad cops. And in this case here, I'm against bad reporters also, because if a reporter crosses those lines, then they're in trouble, just like anybody else. No one operates completely with autonomy. That being said, what I'm talking about to you guys is, when you ride on Air Force One, you sign paperwork, you agree to things. And so that's kind of where some of this comes from. We're talking about a man that right now is under threat. He has countries threatening to kill him. So, yeah. I do agree that a free and independent press is essential to the functioning of a democratic society. So we need to investigate this and see what happened. Yeah, so I don't know. We're going to have to see where this falls, because it gets into a real quagmire here as to what's going on. They're basically, you know, you need to report what's going on. And if you're reporting something that's not what's actually happening, you're reporting some rumor or something, you're on Air Force One. They're telling you what's going on, and you're reporting something else. It gets to be crazy. I'm not worried about that right now. A Harvard astronomer has now been... Oh, shut up. God, this autoplay bullshit. Harvard astronomer tapped to lead White House UFO Council says U.S. government is baffled by what they are seeing. Avi Loeb, the Harvard astronomer chosen last month by the White House to lead a UFO advisory council, believed he was brought on because federal officials are baffled by the many unidentified objects the U.S. military has captured over the past several decades. Lieb, known for arguing that alien spacecraft may have already reached Earth, said his newly formed team of more than a dozen scientists, combing through now 4 batches of public UFO sighting disclosure releases by the Trump administration. His mission began in early June when an official from the Office of the Director of National Intelligence visited his home and asked him to form a group of experts to make sense of UFOs, now referred to by the U.S. government as unidentified anomalous phenomenon. Those 3 words, when strung together, mean nothing. This is an umbrella term that accounts for objects seen zipping underwater, in the air, and in space. The U.S. government had me at hello, Lieb said. Fox News Digital, in an interview, he said as soon as they asked him, he was in. The fact that they're reaching out to scientists like myself indicates in my mind that they're baffled by what they are seeing, and they think that maybe it's not human-made. Lieb's council will report its findings to the UAP Governing Board, a recently established body under the direction of ODNI. According to the council's website, Lieb and his colleagues will only be reviewing already declassified material on UAPs. However, Lieb told Fox News Digital he has asked the Pentagon and other agencies for 50 videos, images, and other documents related to known UAP incidents. Those materials haven't been given to him yet, with the custodian agencies citing national security concerns. So see, when people say, oh, this is the last release, no, it's not. There's still plenty more. Now, whether they release any more, we don't know. But there's plenty more to still be released. Guys, AI is a tool. You just have to use it properly, and people aren't, and there's not much we can do about it. So basically, they're bringing scientists and specialists on board to help us understand what the physicality is of these things, where they come from, what they do, where they are. So I'm encouraged by that, and I think it's a good thing. And so we're going to keep going down that road for a while. We'll see what happens. One other thing I want to mention in the news before we move on here, and that is Seattle cleaned up for the World Cup, but only while the world was watching. Yeah, that's correct. Believe it or not, they moved all the bums. They put them in buses and they put them up somewhere outside of town. And so they went and cleaned up all the garbage. They threw out all the shit. They cleaned up this. They got all the hypodermic needles up. And finally, the World Cup comes and everybody loves Seattle. Oh, they love Seattle. And then it's literally like the last match is played and that's it. And then guess what? They bust all the bums back. And 2 days later, they're walking down and there's hypodermic needles on the side of the road. It's almost amazing to me how quick it came back. It's crazy. Seattle impressed World Cup visitors with cleaner streets and polished public spaces, but once the final whistle blew, the city's open-air drug crisis quickly returned to view, prompting one Seattle commentator to argue officials merely moved the problem out of town so that they wouldn't be seen. Nothing got better over the last few weeks. In fact, it's just as bad as it's ever been. People got moved and they got moved back. They got pushed away from areas where the public from around the world was going to be, and then they were brought back as soon as that public left. That's crazy, guys. You think that? I mean, that's nuts. Do you know that if a tent that's purchased at Walmart is 3 times more likely to be used by a homeless man than a family camping? Yeah, it's kind of a weird stat. Coleman actually makes more tents for homeless people than it's not their fault. They make good tents and people buy them. But I'm just saying, these Christian groups and stuff, they go in and buy out Walmart of all their tents. It doesn't happen down here, but like in some places. And they go give out these tents. And these people put up these beautiful tents, like an $80 tent, $100 tent. And they put this thing up. It's got all the parts and pieces. They never even put it together the first time properly. And within 5 days, it's destroyed. 10 days. These people have no respect for nothing because they're just handed new shit every day. All right, so I'm going to take a break for a minute, and when we get back from my little break, I'll play some music. When we get back from the break, I'm going to discuss the Smithsonian Institute with you guys. So I want you to stay with me. This is Starship Adventures. My name is Ian. This is the Sights and Sounds of Earth, and I'll be back in just a few minutes after this, and we will get on this. But I need a break for a few minutes, and I'll see you in just a few minutes. This is Starship Adventures, and we're going to go into standby mode for just a few minutes. You guys don't go anywhere, because we're not.
Well, hello there, sunshine patriots and blue-haired brigade. Gather round your soy lattes, time to get played. Y'all out here crying for lawbreakers, banging pots like toddlers in a tantrum, while real Americans are laughing our asses off at your woke-ass anthem. Chick who tried to ram agents with her ride, and now she's a martyr. Bitch, please, that's homicide, suicide. Postmenopausal Karens foam at the mouth, spitting and shrieking, blocking cop cars like they're saving the world from deporting the freaking gangbangers, rapists, traffickers. Nah, keep them all, they say. We're crying about fascism in there. Safe space parade. Hey, ho, ho, this protest's a fucking no-show. Whoa, weirdos wailing in the snow. What a goddamn joke, yo. Banging pots and pans like broke-ass toddlers at 3. While ICE does the job, y'all too pussy to see. Upside down flags, frog suits, lawn chairs in the street. Y'all call this resistance? Nah, it's just elite defeat. Waste of time, waste of air, waste of everybody's day. Go home, snowflakes. Law and order's here to stay. Inflatable frog costumes, really that's your big move. Portland's finest freaks, looking like Pepe on shrooms. Shining flashlights in hotel windows all night long, trying to keep agents awake. Bitch, that's just wrong. Yoga dancing in front of detention centers. What the hell? Cosplay revolutionaries, straight out of progressive hell. Non-binary screechers with whistles up their ass, honking horns for hours. Man, y'all got no class. Hey, y'all got no class. Hey, ho, ho. This protest's a fucking... Yeah, this one's for the real Trekkies, the ones who remember when Star contract meant something. Alex Kurtzman, you hack, consider this your send-off. You killed the franchise and we're singing over the grave. I used to beam up proud, watch the stars unfold. Bold explorers, logic sharp, stories pure as gold. Then came Kurtzman, Grim Reaper in a suit, turned the Enterprise into a woke-ass reboot. Cursing the day that clown sniffed around the set. Now it's teen drama trash, the franchise is dead. Greatest sci-fi ever, no, not anymore. You shat all over Roddenberry's core. Oh, Alex Kurtzman, you ruined Star Trek, woke Trek forever, what a pathetic wreck. Barefoot captains, pajama queens on the bridge, cadets fat and whiny, playing high school gigs. A checklist, virtue signaling lectures, Forescape pandering, feelings over vectors. You hate the show, you hate the fans, you hate the dream. Starfleet Academy, more like a bad fever dream. Beat me the hell out of here, Scotty, I'm done. Captain Alake, Holly Hunter's barefoot joke, strutting in PJs, no shoes, someone's got a fetish poke. Talks like gravel in her mouth, sits like a smug damn cat, refuses to split a kid from a crook. Starfleet, where's that at? All power to forward shields while getting hit from behind. Technical idiocy shows you got no mind. Women always stronger, smarter, morally supreme. Men bumbling props in your feminist fever dream. Cadets supposed to be elite, fat, dumb, and out of shape, whining about love triangles, homesick tears on tape. Insubordination daily, no discipline in sight. Mouth off to superiors, get a hug, yeah, that's right. Flat as cardboard, one-dimensional D-bots. Speed run arcs, faster than a warp core plot. Everyone's queer-coded, not representation, just force. Preachy therapy speak, empathy circles, of course. Oh, Alex Kurtzman, you ruined Star Trek, woke Trek forever, what a pathetic wreck. Barefoot captains, pajama queens on the bridge, cadets fat and whiny, playing high school gigs. EA checklist, virtue signaling lectures, Forescape pandering, feelings over vectors. You hate the show, you hate the fans, you hate the dream. Starfleet Academy, more like a bad fever dream. Beat me the hell out of here, Scotty, I'm done. Writing's cringeworthy, dialogue preachy and lame. Juvenile jokes fall flat, embarrassing shame. Grainy visuals, cheap effects, sound mix from hell. Low butchered cannon trash, nostalgia bait smell. Pacing's garbage, unearned tears, forced drama galore. Teen soap on Nickelodeon couldn't be more poor. warship, tank charts dropping like red shirts in a fight. Low scores ain't bombing, fans just saw the light. Ruined Discovery, Picard, strange new worlds too. Lower decks tried, but you poisoned that crew. Turned hope and exploration into leftist lecture halls. Discipline's oppression, men are useless, women got balls. Over-reliance on Easter eggs, desperate and sloppy, no fresh ideas, just reckon what's copy. Kurtzman, your secret hideout, king of the con. You don't get Trek, you hate it, and it's gone. Oh, Alex Kurtzman, you ruined Star Trek, woke track forever, what a pathetic wreck. Barefoot captains, pajama queens on the bridge, cadets fat and whining, playing high school gigs. EA checklist, virtue signaling lectures, Forescape pandering, feelings over vectors. You wrote the epitaph, killed the best franchise alive, Starfleet Academy, proof the dream don't survive. Beam me the hell out of here, Scotty, I'm done. Yeah, I'm done. I'm done. So skip this trash, real fans, let it die in the dark. Kurtzman, take your woke coat and shove it where it sparks. Star Trek was bold, it was hope, it was true. Now it's your tombstone, and we're laughing at you. God rest the franchise. You murdered it, you prick. In transmission.
All right, guys, there you go. I don't take breaks every show because, as you see, we lost half our audience because I took a break and ate a sandwich real quick. So I try to make it all the way through the broadcast without a break. But tonight I had to. My sugar was dropping or something there. I started feeling weird. I feel much better now. Yes, Scotty needs to get his ass in gear with that air conditioner. Yeah, tell me about it. All right. So, yeah, there's something going on with the Smithsonian Institute, but I want to start tonight by telling you guys about it because, you know, most people don't know about the Smithsonian Institute and where it came from. And I think some of you that don't know about this may be relatively surprised when you hear the story. James Smithsonian, the man and his bequest. James Smithsonian, born Jacques Louis Macy around 1765 in Paris, France, as the legitimate son of Hugh Smithsonian, later first Duke of Northumberland, and wealthy widow of Elizabeth Hungerford. His mother traveled to France specifically to give birth in secret to avoid social scandal. His exact birth date remains unknown. He changed his name to James Smithsonian in 1801 after both parents had died. He adopted his father's surname rather than continuing to use his old one. Smithsonian was a highly accomplished chemist and mineralogist. He studied at Pembroke College, Oxford in 1786, was elected a Fellow of the Royal Society at age 22 on the recommendation of Henry Cavendish, and published at least 27 scientific papers during his career. He inherited a substantial fortune, primarily from his mother's family, the Hungerfords, and grew it further through investment. His estate at death was roughly 10 times the amount he initially inherited. In 1826, in his will, Smithsonian left a fortune first to his nephew, Henry James Hungerford, with a contingent clause. If the nephew died without legitimate or illegitimate heirs, the entire estate would go to the United States of America to found at Washington, under the name of the Smithsonian Institute, an establishment for an increase and diffusion of knowledge among men. Smithsonian actually never visited the United States and had no personal ties to the United States either. Historians suggest that the bequest may have stemmed from his resentment over his illegitimate birth and the aristocratic titles he could never inherit. Contrasted with Enlightenment ideals of merit, democracy, and universal knowledge, he reportedly said his name would live on with noble title and would never be forgotten. Smithsonian died on June 27, 1829, in Genoa, Italy. At approximately 63 or 64-ish years old, he was initially buried there in a Protestant cemetery. His nephew died childless in Pisa, Italy in 1835. He died fairly young, activating the U.S. bequest clause in his will. The U.S. government was notified, and after legal proceedings in British courts, the estate, valued at over $508,000 to $515,000 after conversion, arrived in the U.S. Now, in adjusted dollars, this is like $1 billion. It's a lot of money, but arrived in the U.S. in 1838 as 11 boxes of gold sovereigns, which were recoined at the Philadelphia Mint. Smithsonian's personal papers, diaries, and mineral collection were largely destroyed in a major fire at the Smithsonian Castle in 1865. The loss has made biographical details hardest to reconstruct, though later research, including a major biography, did fill in some of those gaps. In 1904, Smithsonian Regent Alexander Graham Bell personally traveled to Genoa and arranged for Smithsonian's remains to be exhumed and brought to the United States. They were reinterred in the crypt inside the original Smithsonian building, the castle, in Washington, D.C., on the Mall, where he remains today. And I've been there 3 times. I walk up to the wall where he's buried there inside the building in the castle, the Smithsonian Castle. Founding and early history of the Smithsonian. So anyway, Congress debated the Smithsonian bequest for nearly a decade after accepting the money in 1836. Some members, including states' rights advocate like John C. Calhoun, urged that the federal government lacked constitutional authority to accept and to administer such a gift. Others proposed using it for a national university or an astronomical observatory, a library, or scientific laboratory. President James K. Polk signed the act establishing the Smithsonian Institute into law on August 10th, 1846. The compromise legislation created a hybrid establishment that incorporated elements of museum, research institute, library, and educational entity administered as a trust. The Smithsonian was deliberately structured as an independent trust instrumentally. Therefore, it's separate from the United States, not an executive branch agency. It is governed by the Board of Regents that includes the Vice President, Chief Justice of the U.S., 3 senators, 3 representatives, 9 citizen regents, plus the mayor of Washington, D.C. historically. The first Smithsonian building, the iconic castle, the Smithsonian Institute building as it's known, was designed by architect James Renwick Jr. and constructed between 1847 and 1855 in the Norman Revival style on the National Mall. And I'm going to see if I can pull that up real quick because it's neat. Well, I want you guys to see what it looks like. Oh, son of a bitch, Bing. Bing is such an inferior search engine, I won't even use it. Absolutely inferior search engine. All right, so okay, so here we go. Let me get this captured up for you guys. This is gonna be a little rough, but I'm just gonna set this up so I can show you different things over here on the left screen. Oh shit! Everything has to be a pain in the ass. Okay, so I'll put it here in the lower right corner of the screen. That's what it looks like. That's the Smithsonian Institution building in D.C. Some say it's one of the most beautiful buildings there, and it sure is. The Smithsonian Castle, there it is, and it's kind of a neat building. It's a unique building. I've walked in through here 3 different times. And it is absolutely a beautiful place. They are working on it. They're doing stuff to it, as always up there. Our nation has really taken a liking to the Smithsonian over the years because it truly is the nation's museum. So this is the Smithsonian Castle, the iconic castle. Let's see here. The institution quickly began publishing scientific works, including the Smithsonian Contributions to Knowledge series, fulfilling Smithsonian's mandate for the diffusion of knowledge. He wanted it to be educational as well as awe-inspiring. The Smithsonian's early collections grew rapidly through government transfers from the U.S. exploring expedition, private donations, and international exchanges. By the late 19th century, it was already one of the world's major scientific repositories. The National Zoo was established by Congress in 1889 as part of the Smithsonian. And I have not been to the National Zoo, I don't believe. I think that's not a huge zoo guy, but I don't think that I've ever actually been to the National Zoo. Trying to see if there's any. There's no real actual like pictures of the place, but it is what it is. This is the National Zoo. But anyway, that's the National Zoo, and that was established as I think the second one, and it remains the only Smithsonian facility that has living animals within it. The Arts and Industries Building in 1881 was the Smithsonian's second major structure on the mall and served as the primary exhibition space for decades before the specialized museums were built. So this one's no longer there, I don't think, but this was the next full big one that they built, and here's some photos of that. Let's see here. I'm trying to see if this is. Yeah, there we go. That's the Arts and Industries Building there. Okay, so today, the Smithsonian is the world's largest museum, education, and research complex, comprising 21 museums, the National Zoologic Park, and multiple research centers and laboratories. In fiscal year 2025, the Smithsonian's total operating budget was approximately $1.75 billion, of which about $1.09 billion, roughly 62%, came from federal appropriations, with the remainder from private donations, endowments, trust funds, and earned revenue, shops, licensing, things like that. The institution owns or operates 666 facilities plus 30 leased, totaling over 12.5 million square feet under air that is owned or operated by the Smithsonian. This range from historic mall buildings to research stations in Panama, Arizona, Hawaii, and a conservation campus in Virginia. Total visits to the Smithsonian Museum and the National Zoo reached 14.9 million in calendar year 2025. The National Museum and Natural History led with 3.3 million visitors, followed by the National Air and Space Museum, my favorite, that's where the Enterprise is, and the National Zoo, 1.9 million for each. The Smithsonian holds an estimated 157.6 million objects, specimens, and works of art in its collection, with the vast majority being scientific specimens at the National Museum of Natural History. If you've never been to the Smithsonian in D.C., bucket freaking list, okay? Over 2 million collection items were on active loan to other institutions worldwide last year for exhibition, research, and education. So they don't just do their own thing, they're helping everybody else too. They allow your museum to put Smithsonian stuff in there. And then they send you the stuff and they put it in there for a period of time. Admission is free to all Smithsonian museums in Washington, D.C., with timed entry passes sometimes required during busy seasons. The one in New York, of course, charges an admission fee. The Smithsonian Affiliates Program loans artifacts and expertise to hundreds of museums and educational institutions across the United States and beyond, extending the diffusion of knowledge mandate by Smithsonian. The institution operates 21 libraries holding millions of volumes and extensive archival collections, 153,000 cubic feet of archives as of last year. Let's talk about each museum. The first one is the National Museum of Natural History. The National Museum of Natural History. This is a huge building right there on the mall, and what an amazing building! This houses the world's largest natural history collection and iconic specimens, including the Hope Diamond. Yes, the Hope Diamond, and you should see the crystals in there. The massive African bush elephant in the rotunda, and extensive dinosaurs. And fossil halls. They got one big circular hall that's nothing but birds from every state around the country. They're taxidermied birds. They got mummies in there. They got like everything you could ever imagine in there. This is a great museum. It's not my favorite. It is not my favorite museum, but I like it very much. That's the Museum of Natural History. And that is in right on the mall. The next one is my favorite. This is the National Air and Space Museum. This is an absolutely amazing thing to see. And one of the things you will see there is the only ship in the entire thing, the only spacecraft, aircraft, ship, submarine in the entire thing that's fake is the Enterprise, because so many astronauts were inspired by this ship. They put it in a box inside the Smithsonian. That's the original 16-foot shooting model that has been completely refurbished. It's got all the original parts, banned just a few things, and it's been completely relit with LED lights, and it is beautiful. This is in the Air and Space Museum. It used to hang from the ceiling years ago, but now they've got it inside this box. I've got pictures of me standing there. I tend to hang around for a while and spend time with her. What an amazing, beautiful model that still exists. And you can see that at the Smithsonian, in the Air and Space Museum. What an amazing, an absolutely amazing place, the Air and Space Museum. I get teary-eyed because it's an amazing place where you can see all kinds of planes and trains and automobiles and all that kind of stuff. Let me see if I can fix this a little bit more here. See if I can get just a little more here on the screen for you. This is the Air and Space Museum. This is what it looks like outside. This is what it looks like. This is the big museum outside of town. This is a different museum. But this is all part of the Air and Space. This is where they put all the really big planes. And you can see all this. Look at this. It's absolutely amazing, all the different things you can see, including, look at this. I mean, all kinds of stuff. And if you get done with the Smithsonian, Air and Space, and you see all this stuff, and you still want more, the rest of it is here at this special hangar outside of D.C. I think it's in Virginia. This center here holds some of the full-size planes from our history, planes that have an amazing history. And you can see those inside that beautiful big hangar. Look at this. That's by the way, inside there, that's an Air France. What's the name of those things? Come on, guys, help me. Shit. They fly faster than the speed of sound. You guys know what I'm talking about. There they are. For some reason, I'm drawing a complete blank. But they're redoing it. It looks really nice outside. I was a little pissed that the Concorde, I just came up with it, the Concorde. Look at that. There's a limb. You can actually walk right around this thing. This is all in the Air and Space Museum, guys. It's just an amazing place. This plane here on the right here, you can actually go up the stairs and go inside it, and you can go in the cockpit and down inside. It's pretty cool. They have some really amazing stuff out there, including this sculpture out front, which is just ever forward. This is such an important place. They've got rocket pieces in there. They've got everything, all from all different stuff. Look at this. That's an actual spacecraft that was in space. It went around the moon. Well, at least it was in space. I'm not sure exactly which one it was. But anyway, yep, all the different things that they have in the Air and Space Museum, it's absolutely amazing. There's entire exhibits on space and space travel and gravity and just some really amazing stuff in the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum. And then next up, these are not in any particular order. This is what order Grok put them in for me. The next one here is the National Museum of African American History and Culture. Now, I'm going to circle back to this in just a minute when I get to the other part of this conversation. Because here, we just created an entire museum for that special interest. I think it's fine. The look of this one's always a little weird to me. Why do they have to build things that look like something Darth Vader would live in? I don't know. That's his bedroom up there. Get out of my bedroom. Okay, and I'll never understand why they do that. Why would they? Why not build it? Make it look interesting. Make it look cool. I'll never understand the propensity to, well, we can build whatever we want, so let's build it really freaking strange. We're going to build it so strange that nobody's going to believe how strange it really is. It's going to be crazy strange. Anyway, there's Darth Vader's bedroom. You couldn't see it before. Anyway, this center here, this is, I hear, a great museum. It's only been open the last time I was up there, and we did not get to it, but I will tell you, I hear it's worth seeing. It rates very highly. And this one tends to concentrate more on the positive things, not the negative things, but it still does get into the negative things. But that is the National Museum of African American History, right there on the mall. And then the next one, this one here is probably my second favorite. This is definitely my second favorite. This is the National Museum of American History. And this building here, this one is very important. This one is the other natural one. That was the natural history. This one is our history, man's history. And that's what's really cool about this. They have all the innovations that man has seen over the years are in here, and different kinds of exhibits that you can see. As you can see, it's very well done. You know, I mean, that's one thing about the Smithsonian, is it's really well done. This is what that's actually. I thought that was in the other one. I think that might be the wrong one that it's showing there, but that's okay. The rest of these will be correct. Let's go. I don't know why I'm not seeing. But anyway, this one here, it's really a cool place. I don't know why it's kind of got all jumbled up here, but this one has things like a beam from the Twin Towers. You can walk up and touch it. It's eerie. It's got a Huey from Vietnam sitting in there. It's really amazing, all the different, you know, all the different things that you can see. They have the first steamer in there. One of the first fire trucks in the country is in there. Old trains. Just absolutely amazing stuff in there. So many cool things to see in there. And this is all about our American history. Lots of stuff about trains in there. And boats and everything else. They really outdo themselves in this one. I really think it's great. They try to capture the moments of time, whether it be different things. We got some really cool stuff in there that you get to see. So anyway, that's one I would definitely see. The Air and Space would be number one, and the National Museum of American History would be number two. There's also is it Hershorm Museum and Sculpture Garden. This one I've been by, but I never actually partake this whole thing. It specializes in modern and contemporary art with a distinct cylindrical building design, and a major sculptures collections displays both indoors and outdoors. That's what this place is. And apparently they offer an immersive experience for anybody that's wearing a mask. I have not been in this one. I have not been inside this one. It looks very interesting, though. That's one of the exhibits. Very interesting place. But that's that. And then the National Museum of American Indian, of the American Indian. And that's another one there. I wish I could go to all of these. I would. But when I'm there, I normally just have 1 or 2 days. But this is what this one looks like. It is the National Museum of the American Indian. And they got all kinds of exhibits in there about Indians and different things. And all of the positive things that led to our culture that came from the Indians, which have an amazing culture themselves. It's a beautiful place inside. I almost think I've been in this one. I went with my granny when I was 15, and we spent like 5 days in D.C. It was so important to my grandmother that she got us all to D.C. and she brought both myself and my cousin Lisa, and we went in there and we went to D.C. and we saw everything. And do you know what stood out to me? The Air and Space Museum and the Armed Forces Band playing at the Jefferson after dark. It was just, it was amazing. This is the National Portrait Gallery. I have been through this one once. It bored the shit out of me. Not a big art guy. But in this one here, some of the best pieces of art in the country, some of the biggest pieces of art, beautiful building, just an absolutely gorgeous place. Look at this. Absolutely gorgeous place. And that is the Smithsonian American Art Museum and National Gallery. Something really cool to see. Now, and everything I've showed you so far is free. Now, you have to pay to park, and you have to pay to get there, and you have to pay. But the actual getting in is free. There's also the National Museum of Asian Art. There's the Cooper Hewitt Smithsonian Design Museum. There's the National Postal Museum. There's the Anacostia Community Museum focused on urban communities, African American history in Washington, D.C., and social issues. So we've already got all these Smithsonians that deal with all these different, different groups of people, different lifestyles, different things like that. But what I'm about to talk to you guys about is pretty messed up. Two additional national museums were authorized by Congress in 2020. The National Museum of the American Latino and the Smithsonian American Women's History Museum, both in the planning and development stages as of 2026. So we're getting into all these specialty groups. I personally don't feel that we need one for Indians and one for black folks and one for Hispanic folks. And you know what? Where's the one for white folks anyway? I think it's kind of crazy because our history has involved all of these people. Why does everybody get their own? But then it gets even worse than that. The left has hijacked the Smithsonian Institute, and that brings me to the main thrust of tonight's conversation. I'm going to read you guys some of the stuff that they've put into the Smithsonian over just the last few years, that these activist leftists have put in. Now remember, the Smithsonian sent his money because he wanted a museum of all of the good things that have happened in America. We've already got a lot of really negative things in these museums, okay? We've got a lot of really negative things in these museums. Why? Because leftists can't let go of nothing. They're always the victim. And now the leftists have taken over, apparently, somehow taken over enough spots that they're getting to pick some of the craziest shit to go in these museums. They put in an exhibit called Aspects and Assumptions of Whiteness and White Culture in the United States. This is in the Smithsonian. It's an infographic, and it's in the Race Education Portal. This digital educational graphic listed traits such as rugged individualism, Protestant work ethic, nuclear family, hard work is a key to success, respect for authority, and delayed gratification, all as characteristics of white dominant culture. That they just named all the things that made this country great. And they're saying that's what makes whitey suck. You guys get that? Rugged individualism, Protestant work ethic, nuclear family, hard work is the key to success, respect of authority, and delayed gratification. Those are all characteristics of a white dominant culture. Those are looked upon as negative traits. This has since been removed from publication. Yeah, Donald Trump had that removed, actually, at his administration. Critics tied to it to broader anti-racism DEI frameworks. It was part of a resource addressing white dominant culture as a standard against which others are measured. The next one is a protest. Protest artifacts from the 2020 George Floyd Black Lives Matter. I told you we'd get back to this, didn't I? Black Lives Matter demonstrations, Lafayette Square and BLM Plaza, Washington, D.C. A coalition of NMAAHC, the National Museum of American History, and Anacostia Community Museum actively collected and sought donations of homemade signs, posters, t-shirts, banners, original art, photographs, audio, video, and other objects left at protest sites to document the social justice movement. The explicit goal for Smithsonian statements was to preserve expressions of protest and hope for future exhibits and the national collection, framing the events as a transformative time in U.S. history tied to race and police brutality. Critics viewed it's also tied to people that, never mind. Oh, Jesus. Critics viewed the initiative as institutional endorsement of a partisan political movement rather than natural history preservation. Some items entered the collection after donor review and cultural approval. Process can take years. Not all submissions were admitted. Girlhood is another one. It's complicated. It's an exhibition in the National Museum of American History that was placed there in October 2020 through January 23. Later had toured other places around the country. This 5,000 square foot exhibit explored the history of American girlhood across 200 plus years through objects, stories, and interactives in sections on education, wellness, body work, fashion, politics, and activism. It includes biographical content featuring transgender advocacy and addressed involving gender norms. Critics in White House report highlighted it for promoting gender identity concepts. Do you believe the shit they're trying to put in our Smithsonian? Part of the Smithsonian's American Women's History Initiative supporters described it as documenting girls as historical actors and change makers. So they created an entire section of this for girls, girlhood, and turned it into an LGBTQIA plus MM2 thing. Intersex, inclusive, progressive pride flag displays. The Natural Museum of American History and several other Smithsonian sites, including at the castle, have flown the LGBTQ colors. The museum prominently displays or flew versions of the Progress flag incorporating gender and intersex color symbols alongside or near the U.S. flag. White House critics and conservatives report citing this as promoting specific MMIA2S, LGBTQ, ML2S+, and gender ideology in the federal institutions. Smithsonian frames such displays as inclusive, well, of course it's inclusive. You've used every alphabet letter that there is. It's inclusive of everybody but straight white males. It even includes murdered women. That's pretty cool. It's probably the only group where you can be dead, murdered, and still join and participate. The other one would be voting. There's a lot of dead people doing that too. Sections of the Title IX 50th Anniversary Exhibit content, National Museum of American History. This isn't a big one. National Museum of American History included discussions of ongoing struggles for equal opportunity in sports, explicitly referring to transgender, non-binary, and cisgender female athletes, and arguments around the inclusion of transgender athletes in women's categories. See, they're literally putting What are you doing, dispatch? Are you crazy? My Lord, you wanted to see what I would actually say if someone gave me $100? Oh my God, dude. Seriously? Well, thank you for that very much. I will put it to good use. It'll help me buy a mini split. But yeah, thank you very much. My biggest donor so far. And you didn't have to do that, but thank you very, very much. Wow. And by the way, I'm working on a project for you, and I will get to you on that tomorrow. I'm here, by the way, all day tomorrow. I'm going to be cleaning up. I've got some housework to do. But I will do whatever you need me to do tomorrow on those logos and stuff, I promise. Let's see. Dispatch just hit the bingo. There you go. Well, thank you very much. I've never seen or read one of these on my page. I saw that one last night on that other page, and I freaked out because I thought it was mine. Well, Dispatch, you didn't have to do that, but thank you very much. It's very, very awesome. Thank you very much. All right. They take like 22%. Yeah, I think it is or something. But it's more than I would like to see. I need to set me up a way for you guys to send me stuff directly. I just haven't done it yet. I don't get a lot of supers, to be honest, because I don't beg for them. So anyway, so Title IX, if you guys remember, Title IX, I don't know. I from what I've read, they send me the information, and from what I read, it's like 22 or 23%. They take 50% of the ad revenue. But that's because they run the platform. Well, you stunned me. I'm stunned. I'm stunned. Absolutely stunned. Oh, boy. I don't know. So, Title IX was originally brought out to protect a lot of things, but one of them was gender identity in sports and things like that. It was supposed to design sports where women have sports just like men do, and they can play. That's part of Title IX. And this is a 50th anniversary Title IX, and it includes all this shit that's actually the opposite of Title IX. Jeez, I just can't believe that they've done this. Critics argue the advanced biological males competing in female sports under a gender identity framework conflicts with sex-based protections. It's true. The Shape of Power, this is another one. The Shape of Power, Stories of Race and American Sculpture exhibition exclaimed how American sculpture has reflected and shaped concepts of race, including its historical use in promoting scientific racism and system of power privilege. Criticized in administrative reviews as emphasizing divisive racial narratives over artistic national achievement. See, the Smithsonian was supposed to be about everything that made us great, not about things that didn't make us great. And I think that's the part that really screws me up here. That doesn't mean we don't mention this and that, but it's about the good things. You know, you don't mention all the terrible, horrible things that happened over race and stuff in the 60s and things like that, you know? Civil rights fights and things like that. You mention it. You talk about it. But you talk about it from the point of view that, yeah, we had this problem and we got through it. But that's not what they're doing. What they're doing is we've got problems and we've got problems, and they're still there. And there's a difference between, you know, these are our national museums. All right, so there we go. There's also various contemporary artworks and temporary displays tied to immigration, race, or identity. There's paintings of border crossings, or the Immokalee Statue of Liberty with tomato. It says, I'm not even sure what that is. The examples include work depicting migrants in the U.S.-Mexican border, sometimes described with phrases like inclusive or exclusionary, or activist symbols used by farm workers. White House lists flagged these for allegedly supporting open border messaging. So they're literally celebrating the fact that people are jumping our borders and shitting on our sovereignty. They're obsessed with it, Snow Baby. They absolutely are. They are absolutely obsessed with this. It's amazing. In 2025 and 2026, the institution has faced formal reviews, some content adjustment, temporary removal of certain references, and pressure to align more with narratives of American success and unity ahead of the 250th anniversary. For primary sources, consult some. Okay, so basically, they've been trying to clean some of this up, but it's an uphill battle. To truly complete, the list captures the core examples. We don't have a full accounting of all the different DEI, MMI2S, LGBTQ, IA2S plus things that are actually in there. And I think it's crazy that we have to have a Smithsonian about race, and a Smithsonian about black people, and a Smithsonian about Hispanic people, and a Smithsonian about women. What are we doing? That should all just be covered. I mean, we're all Americans. All these folks are Americans. They're Latino Americans. They're black Americans. They're white Americans. They're all Americans. I don't see why we need different buildings. I don't call them African Americans. They're Americans. That's what I call them. And I don't know why we need to separate. Why would they want to separate? I would want to be part of it, the whole thing. So I don't understand it, but whatever. I'm not really happy with the way the Smithsonian's going right now, but I still love it. I still think it's very important. And I love some guy I've never met from 200 years ago that gave us all that money to get this started. So if you go to D.C., go to the castle and walk inside on the first floor, and there will be where he is interred. They brought him across and put him here because we wanted him. We wanted him to live forever here. His body, anyway, his corporality or whatever. All right, Moorhead, well, you have a good night. I'm not staying on too much longer. It's 11:01 on the East Coast, 7:01 on the left coast, behind enemy lines. My name's Ian. This is Starship Adventures. A special thanks to Dispatch tonight, who has now given the largest donation I've ever received. Thank you very much for that. You have just purchased 1/4 of a new mini split. All right. I'll get that money down to Scotty right away. Let's see here. Yes. So anyway, I wanted you guys to understand what the Smithsonian is, why it's important, where it is, and then finish it up with what they're freaking trying to do to it right now, these communists and socialists, and the MMI2S, LGBTQIA2S plus people, what they're trying to actually do to our great nation and our greatest institutions. These are our greatest institutions. Yeah, dehydrated, it's probably closer to $600. The good news is I can get into a mini split for less than I paid for that big unit that I got in there. I think I'm just going to plastic that unit off and leave it because I can't even lift it. It takes 3 guys to put it in and take it out. So I'm thinking about just putting plastic over it until I can get 2 or 3 guys here to help me take it out. The mini split, I've already got space for it. I've already got everything set up for it, and I've already got the hole drilled in the floor with a cap over it. Everything's ready to go. I just have to put it in. I have to buy a little air evacuator pump. I'm probably going to wait till Joseph or one of my friends that's smarter than me is here. But yeah, we're going to get that put in. Look, I'm okay here in auxiliary control. If this goes on much longer, I may bring in my big computer and start working on it, but I have nowhere to put it really. I have room in here. It's a fairly nice size room, but I got a king size bed, which I sleep in with like 9 cats, so it's probably a good thing. But I got this huge bed in the middle of the room, or else I'd have more room in here to do stuff. But yeah, I do have my 4-screen setup. I'm using my laptop, and tonight it's not really running hot. It's doing pretty good. I've got it lifted up off the desk so that it runs cool. But yeah, I got to get the air conditioning fixed out there, and it's kind of one of those things where I can't just buy some little unit and stick it in the window. It's got to be a pretty good size unit. D Beard, we discussed it earlier. I don't know if you were in earlier. But yeah, we discussed that at the top of the show. Someone brought it to my attention. I did not know that Randy had died. I did not know that. But I also showed a little snippet of the fire trucks in the museum, because I can show that and get away with it. I would love to play the opener for you guys and talk about it some more. But yep, Squad 51. He was the younger one, the dark-haired one, Randolph Mantooth. And he passed away a couple days ago. Yeah, these guys were in their 30s when they did that show. And that show was in the 70s. The entire show was in the 70s. So these guys are like in their 90s now. You know, I mean, when I go back and look at it, like on Star Trek, all of the grips, almost everybody that worked behind the scenes in the original series is gone. Nearly all of the secondary actors are gone. And all the primary actors are gone but 3. And that's what we got left. We got Walter, and we got Bill, and we got George, and that's it. 3 left, and then they'll all be gone. Everything we'll know about Star Trek will come from history. It won't come from people anymore. You know, and the same thing just happened with World War II. Do you guys realize that? This was the first year. The first year, last year I think, was the first year that there was no people that were at Pearl Harbor when they did every year on that day. There's a big, huge ceremony out there on Pearl Harbor over the Arizona. And every year there's men out there to lay those wreaths, and those men fought. They shot those guns. They fought off those guys that were trying to kill us. And this last year was the first year there was none of them there. There was none. Everybody at the memorial saw it on TV. It's kind of sad. The only ones left are 100 years old, and they were 17, 18 years old when the attack happened. That's how long ago it's been. And so we're literally losing the last people that fought. We've, I think, lost all of the officers. Everybody lieutenant and above, I think, is gone. And we're basically down to just enlisted men at this point. And there's a few left. The health is so bad on these guys, none of them could make it to the thing. It's so sad to think that, you know, early in my life, I can remember years ago, 20, 30 years ago, hearing about how the last man that fought in World War I had died. And that's it. There was no more Americans anywhere in the world that fought in that war still alive. And now here we are. I'm in my mid-50s, and now we're seeing the very last of the men that fought for us in World War II take their final breath. I just, man, it's kind of crazy when you think about it, dude. Where we're at right now, you know? And I hate it because once something goes into the past and there's no one left to talk about it, it somehow changes a little bit. It changes in history to a less important thing. We hardly ever talk about World War I, but we talk about World War II all the time. Part of that's because I think World War II, even World War II, was more significant. It was the stakes were bigger. But I also believe that a lot of that's because there's no one left to talk about World War I. There hasn't been anyone left in the 20, 30 years to talk about World War I. I was stunned. I'll admit it. Here, I was stunned. Yeah, it stunned me. So yeah, there you go. So I just wanted to bring this all up tonight. I think it's important that we remember history and that we remember the good things and the bad things. But I think things like the Smithsonian needs to focus on the triumphs. It can be the trials and tribulations of the triumphs, if you know what I mean. And to you guys, if you've never been to the Smithsonian Institute in D.C., go. And I'm going to tell you how to do it real quick, since we're already out of time here, and I'm going to keep going for a while anyway. I don't give a shit. Because it's YouTube. I can go as long as I want. Yeah, people call World War II the war. Do you know what they called World War I? The Great War. The war, they called it the Great War, the war to end all wars. And then II happened. And they didn't call World War II during World War II. It was referred to as the war. And then later on, the designation World War I and World War II became more popular. But yes, at the time, they were simply referred to as the war. I'm glad, Kat. I'm glad. And I hope you guys feel a little closer to this now. The Smithsonian belongs to all of us. It was a gift from a Frenchman that never even came here. But he loved this country. He read about this country. I think he was afraid of boats. If you want to know the truth, back then, coming to America meant 3 or 4 weeks on a clipper. And I'm going to tell you, it's not the easiest trip across the ocean, all right? You're not eating the best food. You're shitting over the side of a boat. You're puking. It's bad. There's no Dramamine. You can just imagine. So a lot of people enjoyed things from afar. He read books about the United States. You know, he read newspapers from the United States. He got things from the United States. He loved the United States. And thank God his son didn't have any kids and we got all that money. And where would we be today if the Smithsonian didn't do this? Where would we be? Would we have something else that's like the Smithsonian? I don't know. That's how important this is. Look, when you go to D.C., the Smithsonian should be about 2/3 of what you see. And I'm not exaggerating, because the Air and Space and the Natural Museum, that's one day right there. If you really hurry and you don't spend much time reading all the plates, you can probably get in one more. And then you need one day to go see the monuments. And I'm going to tell you something. If you walk down the Korean War Memorial, with those guys standing out there in the field, and all those faces on that wall, if you walk down that and don't cry, you're not an American. I'm telling you, the Korean War Memorial probably haunts me more than any of them. The Vietnam Wall, of course. My God, you have to go see the Vietnam Wall. The World War II Memorial is grand. It's amazing. The World War I Memorial, off to the side a little bit. You got to go find it. It's 3 blocks away. But you got to go see that one too. You need to spend one day seeing memorials. I don't suggest going to the top of the Washington. And I'm going to tell you why. They're little teeny windows. You'll wait forever. You'll have to schedule it. It's a pain in the ass. And that I'm surprised that thing hadn't fallen down. There was people up there, the last big earthquake they had, and they shut it down for a year until they got it fixed, or 2 years or something. So I'm not all that interested, truthfully. I'm not all that interested in going up into Washington. I went up there when I was 15. The windows are about this big, and there's like a red light above you. That's those red lights you see up there. But there's a window, it's about this big. It's this big. It's barely big enough for two people to look out at the same time. And the window is 1 inch thick glass, and it's old. And it's kind of cloudy, and the outside needs cleaned. Now, they may have redone those windows, and they're a little better now. I don't know. But the truth is, I wouldn't waste your time going up into Washington. It's not that big a deal. But you got to go to the base of it and touch it. You got to go to the Washington. I just said the Washington. You got to go to the Lincoln. You got to go to the Lincoln. Right there to the side is the MLK. You can knock both of those out. And then you got the Vietnam Wall, the Korean Wall. The World War II is on the other end of the reflecting pool. That's one day. Okay? And what I suggest is if you're doing multiple days, you pick the best weather day, the coolest and best weather day, and go do the monuments on the best weather day. Then plan your days in the Smithsonian's on rainy days or days where the weather could be changeable, and that way you're doing most of your stuff inside. Now, how do you get around? Well, what you do, you park at Union Center, okay, Union Station. Union Station has parking. It's about $20 a day, which, trust me, that's not bad for DC. You go in there, you go up to a level, you find a parking space, you take your ticket, you go in and you go up to Grand Central Station. The neat thing about that is you get to see Grand Central Station, not Grand Central Station, Union Station, which is like Grand Central Station for DC. They got trains, they got buses, and they got automobiles, they got everything, buses out front, but that's where the good old the old town trolley system works out of there. Go ahead and spend the $60 and get you a trolley pass for the day. You can buy books of 3 or 4 or 5 days and get a really good discount online. It's the old time trolley system, or old time tours, I think it's called. Old town tours, something like that. Anyway, you go there, you get that, and then you walk right out front, and there it is, standing there. It's the ugly green and orange buses. You walk right out, you get on the bus, you sit down, and your tour begins. And you've already got to see Union Station, which there's a lot of history and a lot of cool things to see in Union Station. And then you get on your old town trolley, and it takes you around DC. It's about a 45-minute ride around DC. But you want to know what's really cool? You could just stay on there and ride it all day long if you want. They don't kick you off. What that means is you get on there and you use that as your breaks. Like, we would go for 2 hours, and then we were getting tired. We needed the rest. Well, here they come. They come down the road every 10 to 15 minutes. There's an old town trolley pulling up. You walk up, you've got your sticker on your shirt, you get right on the trolley, and it takes you around. And now you get to listen to the bus driver tell you all about DC. And every bus driver has a different things they talk about, so you don't hear the same story twice. It's really cool. They go all around the Capitol, the White House, all around everywhere. You get to see everything from the bus. And then you just get off whenever you're ready to get off. And you go see a few things, 2 or 3 hours, and then you're tired again. You get back on the bus. You ride all the way around. It's cool. It's nice. Nice, comfortable seats. You sit, you walk, you look, you listen to the stories. And then you get off again, and you go again for 2 hours. And then they send around the last trolleys. You know what time. At 6 or 7 o'clock, you have to be on that last trolley. It gets you back. If not, you have to Uber back to Union Station. You get back to Union Station, you get your car, you pay your $20 on the way out, and you're done. And all that doesn't cost you anything but that. Your $60-something ticket for the trolley, $20 to park your car. Really not that much money when you're looking at a big city like this. Parking your car and taking a trolley in New York would probably cost you 3 times that much. So it's really not that bad. And we used the trolley as our rest breaks. We usually would do 2 or 3 days, and we would do the trolleys for 2 of the days, and then we would go to Arlington. We always would go to Arlington. You have to go to Arlington in Virginia. It's right across the Potomac. You can see it. You go over there. That's where Robert E. Lee's house is. Of course, that's the hillsides of stone. Just an amazing place up there in Arlington. And you got to go see Arlington. They've got great open-air trams there that are part of Arlington. You just pay the $20 or whatever. You get on the tram. It takes you all around the whole place. They take you to Lee's house where you can go in and look around inside. The balcony on the back of Lee's house is probably the best view of Washington, D.C. in the entire world, except for maybe an airliner. It's just an absolute gorgeous, beautiful view of D.C. and the mall, and you can see all the important buildings. So you got to go see that when you're there. So I recommend 3 days minimum. You need 1 day to do, you need really more, but 1 day to hit 3 or 4 of the Smithsonian's. You need 1 day to hit the memorials. And then if you want to do the White House or the Capitol building, that's another whole day because there's processes involved and everything else. And then, of course, 1 day for Arlington. And then if you want to hit the big Air and Space Museum or the Lincoln Theater or any of that kind of stuff, you would need another day. So there's so much to see there. 5 days will not get it done. But you got 3. You can do it in 3. You can see all the main stuff in 3. Yeah, let's get some likes, guys. We need a few more likes here before we sign off. My name's Ian. This is Starship Adventures, and we're talking about Washington, D.C., a place that used to be a crime-ridden haven that Trump has now turned back into a beautiful capital city on the hill and a shining city on the hill. And it's an amazing place to go see. You have to go see it if you love this democracy. I'm sorry, if you love this representative republic and you love your country and you love all that, you've got to try to get to D.C. I know it's expensive. I know it's difficult. Drive, park your car. Don't fly and get a rental and all that. That's very expensive. Even if it's 12 or 15 hours from your house, even if you live over in the Midwest or even down here in the South. You know, I drive to my cabin. And I stay a few nights at my cabin, and then we jump in the car and we drive to D.C. It's about 9 hours from my cabin. Snow Baby, if I had enough money to do this, I would set it all up and I'd pay for as much of it as I could. I don't have the resource even to go myself right now. I've got air conditioning issues, pump issues. Yeah, but down the road, I would love. Well, look, when I get my van, guys, I plan to go do all kinds of this kind of stuff. I'll meet 3 or 4 of you guys at DC, and we'll do the day. I'll meet 3 or 4 of you guys here, and we'll do the day. You know, and then we'll stop somewhere and do the show at night, and it'll be a lot of fun. I'm planning on doing a lot of that kind of stuff. One of my main goals is to meet my members. I want to meet all of you guys. I want to go to your house or to a place of your choosing on a date of your choosing and shoot a show with you in my van. Or maybe go shoot video in your town of the cool things in your town, and then we'll show them that night on the video. That's kind of my idea. That's really what I want to do is kind of see in America with Ian, you know, type of thing. Well, I don't know where that camera is, but it is frickin' pouring there. All right, guys, last chance in the chat room. If there's anything you want me to mention tonight, let me know. I need a few more likes, guys. We're almost there. All right, we got to unwoke the Smithsonian, man. We got to unwoke it. Yep, I'm showing 54 likes. Come on, guys. Let's get a few more in there before we sign off. All right, let me do a quick news check here. Okay, just happening a few minutes ago. Shooting at Toronto's largest street festival leaves at least 2 dead, multiple wounded as police hunt suspects. How could that happen in Canada? Guns are illegal. How could that possibly happen? First responders found multiple people suffering from gunshot wounds in an active shooter situation. Police say they received a report of shots fired at St. Clair Avenue West and Arlington Avenue at 8:12 p.m. local time and discovered an active shooter situation. This in Toronto, Canada. First responders found 6 people suffering from gunshot wounds. Officials said 2 of the victims were pronounced dead at the scene. It is unclear what led to the shooting, and authorities said suspects are still outstanding. Following the shooting, the Toronto Transit Commission suspended train stops at the nearby St. Clair West Station on Line 1 due to what officials describe as a security incident. Regular transit has since resumed. Authorities urged the public to avoid the area. The TD Salsa on St. Clair Festival, Toronto's biggest Latin culture celebration, was celebrating its 22nd annual event in the Toronto's Hillcrest Valley. The Toronto Police Service told Fox News Digital no further information is available. So they released some information. They released information that told us that there was no information that they were releasing. So there you go. There's nothing like government doublespeak to tell you that you're not going to find out anything. This is sad today, plane crash. Beloved musicians among victims in deadly Bahamas plane crash. Aviation Authority grounds flights. The Civil Aviation Authority Bahamas grounded Flamingo Air after a separate aircraft fire on the same day. They had a crash and an aircraft fire, 2 separate incidents, same day, same airline. A devastating double aviation crisis in the Bahamas, including, God bless with these autoplays. Including a deadly North Andros plane crash and a separate aircraft fire Friday. Say hi, Ed. Hey, say hi to everybody, Ed. Yeah, no, they're over there. You gonna say hi to everybody? Oh, that's my boy. That's my boy. Yeah, Eddie. Yeah. Where's that little one at? By the way, that little kitty has not gone out in 3 days and 3 nights. Its mother must think it's dead. It does. If I try to bring it out, it starts struggling and freaking out, and it jumps out of my hands and it runs back in the bedroom. It's decided I'm an indoor kitty and I'm not doing that outdoor shit ever again. Can you believe that? I mean, the cat discovered air conditioning, and cats that love him and people that love him. He's got Daddy Kitty in here. He literally lays and sleeps with Daddy Kitty every day. Daddy Kitty's still doing a little better today. He looks a little better. His fur is improving, but he's still very light. He's lost over half his weight and muscle mass, and a lot of times that means they're end of life. But it also sometimes means they had a really bad injury or illness in his case. They had a really bad illness of some kind, a lung infection or something, and it almost killed him, but it didn't. And now we have to get their health back. So that's kind of where we're at with Daddy. But I'm looking at him right now, and he's not looking too bad tonight. He's not looking too bad tonight. He's up around. He's jumping. He's doing the 4 things that are important for cats. Eating, shitting, sleeping, whatever. He's doing all the normal stuff. And so we're going to hope that he hangs in there. Teddy's fine. He's the healthiest cat I got. That cat he's something else. That's Teddy sleeping up there on the dresser. And I got Littles over here. I got Daddy over here. But I don't know where that little kitten went. I don't know where that little kitten went. Where's your little kitten, Daddy? I know he didn't get out. He can't get out. How's Theodore? Yeah. We called him Ted, and then it dawned on us that it's like Teddy Bear, Ted Bear. So we started calling him Teddy Bear, but that wasn't actually the original thing. Carlotta, when she names a cat, she names it a human name. She thinks it, and I kind of agree. It's enduring, you know. I don't call him Spot or Foo or something. I call them Ed and Ted. You know. I don't have a Paul or a Bob yet, but I'm working on it. I'm thinking about calling the little one instead of Spock. I'm thinking about calling him Leonard or Lenny. That's my little Lenny. What do you think? Do you not like that, Ed? Why are you giving me that look? I don't know. 5 more likes, guys. Come on. I'm hanging in there. I want to get these 5 more likes. I really do. We're trying to get our algorithms up. It's kind of a bitch when you're out here. You know, let me mention this today. A swing and a miss for the Weather Service. I'm not going to blame our local meteorologists, but a swing and a miss for the Weather Service today. They had us at a threat for severe weather down here today. We had gotten really severe weather yesterday. We got some of the most severe weather we've gotten down here in a year. It looked like a hurricane hitting my work, and I'm not exaggerating. It was so dark, the street lights all came on. People that were like driving in and out, the parking lot looked dark, like it was nighttime in the parking lot. Oh, come on, cat. Damn it. And so it looked totally crazy out there. The wind was blowing 45 miles an hour, 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts. I was standing there with the meteorologist and with our anchor, Chris Safati, for our news. And I'm standing there, and we're all three. Somebody's like, I want to get some video of this. So the meteorologist's like, I can't do it. I can't get my clothes wet. I'm getting ready to go on the air. And so Chris Safati said, I can't get my suit wet. So I said, well, here, let me see if I can get it. And as I'm opening the door, I realized I'm on TV in 10 minutes too. I forget that I'm doing that now too. And I've got my nice shirt on, and I'm all getting ready to go on TV. And so I ended up getting my shirt all wet, but I kind of got it dried out before I went on TV. But we couldn't get a shot of it. The wind was blowing so hard, it kept blowing the door back closed again. And the water was coming in. It was raining up against the wall so hard that water came in and soaked the carpet all the way down the hallway about 20 feet. There was physical water coming in under the door and around the door. It was like gale force winds. We get bad storms, but that was definitely one of them. Lots of lightning, very, very dark skies. And I saw something you see every now and then. Several different times during the storm, it turned green outside. That's something that happens down here during large storms, is we get that emerald green color. Sometimes it happens right before tornadoes. So it's kind of a concern, sometimes when you see that green coloring. It's kind of cool. But anyway, that's what they say is that. What a hell of a storm. So I think they kind of thought, hey, we're probably going to get another storm today like yesterday, but it didn't happen. They missed the mark today. 80% chance of rain, possibility of severe weather, yada, yada, yada. It never materialized. No, Lee, Charlotte, Collier, Glades, DeSoto, Henry. Nobody got any bad weather today. There was some up in Sarasota. Oh, I do want to talk about both the AI and the sodium battery. So we'll go ahead and set that. We'll figure out when we're going to do that in the next week or two. I'm up to it. Definitely. All right. So we're going to continue watching. I think there's going to be more bombing in Iran tonight. I think that's pretty much an inevitability. Let me see if there's anything else going on. We talked about that. As people prepare to travel for summer vacation, a top pest control company is revealing the U.S. city where you're most likely to encounter bed bugs. Important information here. That's why I saved it till the end of the show. Bed bugs are small insects that feed on blood and live near humans or animals. Shut up. They favor places we sleep and rest, such as beds, couches, and nearby furniture. They can cause itchy bites, skin irritation, and in some cases even allergic reactions. Chicago, once again, topped the list of Orkin's 2026 bedbug cities, and it retains the title Chicago, Bedbug Capital of the World, retaining the pest control and extermination company's #1 ranking as America's city where it has performed the most bedbug treatments of anywhere in the country. Orkin announced last year that the Windy City had held into its spot as the most bedbug infested city in the nation for the 5th consecutive year. Los Angeles, Detroit, Cleveland, and Indianapolis rounded out the top 5 this year. Popular tourist hotspots, Tampa and Myrtle Beach, also experienced some increases as well. Many cities where bedbug activity had been the worst in last year or in some other years were some of the country's most popular travel destinations and are expected to welcome large numbers of visitors to major concerts, festivals, and sporting events throughout the summer and beyond. Nashville and Oklahoma City each climbed 10 spots on the list this year, but still not near the #1. The company said while Youngstown, Omaha, and Knoxville recorded some of the largest declines. So way to go, Youngstown, Omaha, and Knoxville. Way to kick those bed bugs in the ass. According to Orkin, these year-over-year changes highlight the persistence and evolving nature of these bed bug activities across the nation. The rankings are based on treatment data from the metro area where Orkin performed the most bed bug treatments from 25 to 26. The report by Casino CA released earlier this summer ranked Michigan as the state with the highest estimated risk of encountering bed bugs, followed by Ohio, Maryland, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. I think I'll mention most of those are blue states. Fox News, I think there's more bed bugs in liberal states. Hawaii and Oregon. Hawaii and Oregon ranked the lowest on the bedbug list. Warren, Michigan topped the list of U.S. cities with North Las Vegas, Nevada, and Madison, Wisconsin also ranking among the busiest cities for bedbugs. Here's the problem with bedbugs. It's like anything else. You've got a guy that's got bedbugs in all his shit, and he's traveling from city to city selling doorknobs or something. And every town he goes to, he leaves bedbugs behind. And here's the thing: your bedbugs may be resistant to some of the things that other bedbugs are not resistant to. So not only do you have a lot of bed bugs, but you might be getting them from a lot of different places, and they may be each resistant to different kinds of poisons and different things, even international bed bugs. These could be illegal alien bed bugs, and they need to be sent back to their country of origin right away. Oh, that's cool. Bean leaves. That's interesting. All right, guys, last call. Anything else before we go? It's 11:38. 8:38 on the left coast. Looks like the months after capturing their second Super Bowl title, the Seattle Seahawks are poised to begin the 2026 season under new ownership. A group led by Vinod Kalashlala, his wife Niru, and their son Neil is set to become the fourth ownership group in the franchise in 51 years. The Koshla family reportedly reached a $9.6 billion agreement with the Paul Allen estate to take controlling interest of the Seahawks, the record price tag for an NFL franchise. The NFL's most recent ownership change came in 2023 when a group led by Josh Harris purchased the Washington Commanders, and they need to change that name back, by the way. Even the Indians want them to change it back, so I'm getting real sick of this bullshit. Yeah, that Toronto shooter is not active. This was earlier. They've opened the area back up at this point. There is at least 2 dead, many hospitalized. Yeah, the way these liberal states tax some of these sports guys, they've already said they're probably not going to have any more Super Bowls in California. You know, if these guys go over and play a Super Bowl, like a Florida team plays Super Bowl and wins in California, they end up paying 20% of everything they made that year to California or something. It's some crazy number. And I'm like, and they're just saying, we don't want the Super Bowl ever to be in California again because of the taxing system. And that's probably going to happen. Listen, dispatch, if you want to call me, we can speak directly. If you want, I'd be glad to send you a Zoom link, and we could Zoom tomorrow at some point, anytime you want. Just let me know. I'd be glad to Zoom call you. You probably would need your Windows 10 machine for that. But I could Zoom you, and then we could make the graphics together. It's actually quicker, and you'll get exactly what you want. So let me know how you want to do it. We can do it by phone, do it by email, do it by Zoom. Yeah, it's crazy, Matt. I read some of that a while back, and I'm like, this is nuts. All right, guys, one more thumbs up. One more thumbs up. Let's do it. I do want to thank everybody for being here. This is the Sights and Sounds of Earth here at Starship Adventures. I'm broadcasting live from Auxiliary Control in North Fort Myers, Florida. That's southwest Florida. We're down on the bottom of the country's penis. And it's pretty nice down here. Anyway, it's really hot. It's been really hot lately. So we're continuing to watch bombs falling. I don't know if I think these are. I think this is looping at this point. But we are watching bombs falling on the Middle East. We bomb Iran. Iran bombs Israel. Israel bombs Iran. Then we bomb Iran. Then Iran bombs Israel. And then at some point somebody bombs Beirut for the hell of it. And then we start bombing again. And then Iran hits Qatar just because they're there. It's ridiculous, guys. It's absolutely stupid. And it's just absolutely stupid what's going on over there. Trump needs to just go ahead and end it tonight. Bomb them right back to the 6th century. I'm sorry, but my God, you cannot negotiate forever. You have to eventually draw the line, right? Anyway, so yeah, I'm broadcasting from my backup location inside my house because my studio air conditioner went out, and we are working on getting that replaced. And it may be a month or so. It may be weeks. I don't know. It may be in a few days. I really don't know because I've got feelers out. I'm asking people for help. And I'm slowly getting the money together thanks to Dispatch and other people. I'm slowly getting the money together. So we're going to get it done. We'll be back in the studio before long, and I can't wait to be completely back up in our studio with all my 10 computers running, all my 32 screens going, and everything else. There's a few things I like about being in the bedroom here. You know, if I'm really tired, I just crawl in the bed behind me. But the truth is, I really, really like my television studio. Trump is too nice. I agree with you. I agree. I lost patience with this whole process 3 weeks ago. No, I do not think it'll go nuclear. No. No, we got friends in that region. We're not gonna start nuking. There's no such thing as a clean nuke. We're gonna drop Moabs. We're gonna carpet bomb the shit out of them. We'll Moab their ass. Trump gave them too many chances. I love Trump and I rarely disagree with him, but he's over tolerant on this. I think he doesn't want to do it. And I don't blame him. Do you want to shut off the lights on a desert country like this? I mean, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be the man that have to do that. But he's got to do this. He's got to finish it. And it had to be done. I just wish he would have waited till November 15th and done it then. Because we got to win the midterms. There's no way around it. All right, there we go, guys. I got 61 here. So there we go. We've got our 60 likes. I want to thank everybody for that tonight. And a special thanks to Dispatch. Dispatch, you could have as much time of mine as you need tomorrow. I swear to God. I want to help you out. I really do. So we'll figure out how we're going to do it. Let's see here. Yeah, Dispatch, I don't know if you heard what I said earlier to you, but I can do this tomorrow via Zoom, via email, via telephone, whatever you want to do. If you want to just Zoom, that's the easiest. I can send you a Zoom link in the email, and we can connect, and we can see each other, and I can show you. You don't have to turn your camera on if you don't want to, but I'm just saying we can talk visually, and also I can then screen capture my screen and literally show you the graphics as I'm making them and how I'm making them. So you can do it yourself. I'll send you the way to do it yourself too. And I'll do them for you. So just let me know. Those guys were at they're just talking now. They were at a protest in Portland, but they've since gone off to a bar now. They're sitting in a bar or somewhere. But these are MAGA guys that go out to harass the leftists. Yep, and oh man, that Rosie O'Donnell chick is so nasty, dude. She moved out of the country, but she still spends most of her time here. I don't know how that's supposed to hurt anybody except her. All right, guys, that's going to be it for tonight. We're coming up on 3 hours of broadcasting here. I think that's pretty good considering there's nothing going on. I enjoyed the discussion that I had with you guys tonight on the Smithsonian, and I hope you guys now, if you didn't know all that, I'm hoping now you do, and it enriched your history. Some water cooler talk for tomorrow. You guys can go ask your friends. So who is Smithsonian, and how did we end up with the Smithsonian Museum? And come to find out, it's a guy that we never even came to this country. Come here. Look who just woke up. Look who just woke up. Did the big old baby. He is still not used to quite being held yet. Yeah, he's such a good kitty. I didn't need or want another cat, but this one is just very special, and I've had to bring this one in and make it mine. So, and you know what's weird? They don't always get along. You know, cats. But all of my cats love this little kitten. They're all getting along with this little kitten. No hisses, no problems. Daddy kitty sleeps with it constantly. It was really cool. I think it was really cool. Hey. He's such a cute little thing. All right, guys. I guess that's going to be it. Eddie, are you ready? Let me close this thing out. All right, guys. Thanks for being here tonight. Again, one more time, thank you, Dispatch, for the largest donation I've ever received. Thank you very much. And I think, let's see, I think that's going to be it. I want to thank everybody for being here. My name's Ian. This is Starship Adventures. And I do want to thank everybody for being here. I hope that you enjoyed the show tonight. Oh, why can't I see what these say? They changed the formatting on OBS, and I kind of like it, except sometimes I can't see what the hell my things say. There we go. Okay, there we go. All right, guys. I will see you guys on our next broadcast, which will be tomorrow night, because it's not quite midnight yet. We'll see you tomorrow night on the Sights and Sounds of Earth right here at 9 p.m. on Starship Adventures, broadcasting worldwide on YouTube, the world's largest broadcast platform, and we're glass all the way to the net, baby, all the way to Al Gore's house. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Have a good one out there, and be safe. What the hell happened? Okay, none of those are playing, so let's just do this. This is the YouTube channel Starship Adventures, broadcasting live from Starship Studios in North Fort Myers, Florida, in the United States of America. We thank you for joining us this evening for another broadcast of the Sights and Sounds of Earth, covering every breaking news story across this troubled planet of ours. We brought you the raw, unfiltered pulse of the world in real time through our unique multi-screen format, broadcasting in high definition worldwide via fiber optic connection. Starship Adventures, a new kind of YouTube content. To our regular viewers, our loyal crew members, our amazing moderators, and everyone who tunes in each night at 9 p.m. Eastern, we thank you. Your support keeps this independent voice alive and well. We'll be back tomorrow evening at 9 p.m. Eastern with another live edition of the Sights and Sounds of Earth, right here on Starship Adventures. Until then, stay safe, stay informed, and may God bless you and these United States of America. This is Starship Adventures, and this concludes our broadcast day. Good night, America, and around the world. Kilo Oscar 4, Echo Foxtrot Sierra. Signing off. QSY, 7 3s, everyone, 7 3s.